Starting us off at number 10, moderating Twitch chat. For the Overwatch Contenders 2018 season quarterfinals, a new Twitch chat moderation system was implemented. Fans who tuned in from December 28th to January 12th had to link their blizzardbattle.net account with their Twitch account to be able to send chat messages. Anyone who didn't was sent an automatic reply urging them to link their accounts. This was essentially giving Blizzard the ability to ban people based on chat messages, which is totally insane, because Blizzard shouldn't be able to ban players based on a chat message on another platform, even if your game is the one being streamed. When I stream, it's not like you have to connect your Minecraft account or something. While yes, they are streaming it and they are streaming their own game, they aren't using their own platform to do so, so they shouldn't have control over chat any more than what you would be given normally. That's some bullshit. And at number 9, Diablo Immortal. Imagine you've paid hundreds of dollars on a ticket to BlizzCon, a plane ticket, a hotel room, and dinner. Now imagine you did all of this because you knew there was going to be a Diablo announcement at BlizzCon. You spent months speculating and theorizing about what it could be, Diablo 4, a remake maybe? You sit down in the theater along with hundreds of like-minded people, only to find out that the new Diablo game is a mobile game, and not Diablo 4. Yeah, sounds pretty crappy, but at least it didn't happen to you. But it did happen to hundreds of others at BlizzCon 2018. While mobile games don't have the best reputation among some gamer crowds, the Diablo gaming community is more known for being hardcore PC gamers, with some people who hate mobile games with a passion. While Blizzard is releasing a mobile Diablo game with a canon story, there was a reveal for the next Diablo game prepared for the end of the Immortal trailer, but it was removed at the last minute. This would probably have been similar to the Elder Scrolls 6 reveal, but that could have just pissed off fans even more. And at number 8, cancelled Q&A. A new rumor indicates Blizzard will only allow submitted questions to be asked during BlizzCon panels. This came from a screenshot of the question submission for the World of Warcraft Q&A panel that was posted to the WoW subreddit with the headline, "No open Q&A sessions at BlizzCon this year, RIP Red Shirt Guy." This photo spread to Twitter, where Diablo 2 producer Mark Kern commented saying that this is what happens when you trash your brand so badly that even your loyal fans can't be trusted. We all know damn well why Blizzard is preventing Q&A sessions, and it's in all honesty understandable. You need to look at it from their perspective. They had a major blunder that is causing a massive uproar over all gaming communities, so they want that moment to die down, and millions of questions about it won't help. A former Blizzard employee responded saying, "This is how the Warcraft Q&A has been done for years. WoW hasn't had an open Q&A in years. There was also no Q&A scheduled other than the WoW one, so maybe they just cut them out altogether. Who knows?" Blizzard. And at 7, Heroes of the Storm. The game isn't dead, but it's not alive. Blizzard announced that it was ending all Heroes of the Storm esports entirely, stating that the game was basically shifting away from active development, which basically means they gave up trying to compete with Dota and League of Legends. The game was never as popular as the others, and everyone was thinking it was going to be the next big thing. Sure, it didn't do terribly, hence why it's number 7. The characters were just from other games, and they never really had anything intuitive or new in comparison to any other MOBA. So that, in combination with hitting the market too late, caused them to not hit their goal with online or casual player total, so they axed it. And at 6, Titan. Titan is a cancelled project from Blizzard, which was intended to be an MMO. With speculation beginning in 2007, Blizzard revealed no information besides that it would be a completely new continuity, and not based in Warcraft, Starcraft, or Diablo lore. After 6 years, the game got cancelled in May of 2013, but they played it off as a development shift. It was officially cancelled in September of 2014, over a year later. The game was set to be a class-based shooter game, where the classes granted the player initial abilities, but as they progressed through the game, they would gain perk points for skill trees for that character. Apparently, towards the end of the game's life, there were several overpowered combinations and it was very cluttered and confused. The game would take place on Earth in the near future, where the player would work a mundane job during the day, but would fight enemies at night. Like a vigilante? Cause that sounds dope! There is a silver lining, however, because the assets they made were used in Overwatch, so I guess the game kinda lives on. And at 5, The Death and Return of Superman. You're welcome, Kelly. The Death and Return of Superman is a side-scrolling beat-em-up game released for the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis in 1994. It was developed by Blizzard in conjunction with Sunsoft, and was published by Sunsoft. So, for those of you who are gonna complain in the comments, there you go. It was published by Sunsoft but helped developed by Blizzard. The game was based on the Death of Superman comic series arc by DC Comics, and it featured several characters like Superboy, Steel, Cyborg Superman, and the Eradicator, and my favorite, Doomsday. You are able to play most of these characters. The game was a classic beat 'em up, where you could only continue once the villains had been dealt with, but somehow he wasn't killing anyone with super punches. The game starts off with you needing to fight Doomsday, which resulted in the death of both Doomsday and Superman. 3 months after this, 4 different Supermen come out in an effort to replace the original. The reviews were not good. Next Generation reviewed the Genesis version, and said, if you must catch a glimpse of your favorite superhero, buy the comic book, not the game. Ouch. And if you don't believe me, be my guest and try it. The game is $65 on Amazon. Are you willing to spend that much to prove a point that you won't really be able to make? I'm not. And at 4, StarCraft Ghost. StarCraft Ghost is another cancelled game from the StarCraft series by Blizzard. The game was announced on September 20th, 2002 and was going to be available for major consoles at the time. The game received several delays in development and was constantly pushed back for bigger and better things. The release date had been pushed way back and the game hadn't materialized. Plans for the GameCube version were put on hold in 2005, and in March of 2006 the game itself was put on indefinite hold. The company then spent the next 8 years contradicting one another about whether the production would resume or not, ultimately being announced as cancelled in 2014. Holy crap! Being put off 8 years must suck! I know that kind of feeling. Of course it wasn't a game, it was a girl and she put me off for 4 years, not 8. But it would feel similar, right? Ted Mosby knows that feeling. Robin put him off for God knows how long. Then she realized she loved him after he was getting married. Maybe Blizzard should have merged with Activision at this point and maybe the game would have been revived. See, I had a point to that tangent. And at number 3, gamer ban. I'm sure you all know about Blizzard banning professional Hearthstone player Blitzchung. Hell, it's probably why you clicked on the video, but you may not know why. You probably do, but in case you don't, let me explain. During a post-game interview on the official Hearthstone Taiwan livestream, Blitzchung shouted, "Liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our age," while wearing a gas mask similar to the protesters. As a response to this, Blizzard banned him from playing in any Hearthstone tournaments for 12 months, and removed him from the Grandmaster roster, thus preventing him from receiving any prize money he had earned, which in this case was $10,000. According to Blizzard, Blitzchung violated a competition rule that bars competitors from doing things that bring you into public disrepute, offends a portion or group of the public, or otherwise damages Blizzard's image. After the absolute explosion of the community, getting the hashtag boycott Blizzard trending globally, the company has lessened his ban and returned him his prize money. But he was not allowed back in the tournament since the games had already progressed. While they did reduce the punishment, the amount of backlash this decision got was incredible, and it's nice to see the community come together, even if it wasn't for the best of reasons. This decision got, oh, maybe you can dub it, I don't know. Number 2, Fortnite is doing better. This number comes in the wake of the last. The developer of Fortnite, Epic Games, said in a statement that it won't be banning players or content creators such as YouTubers or Twitch streamers for voicing opinions about political movements or just politics in general, saying, "Epic supports everyone's right to express their views on politics and human rights. We wouldn't ban or punish a Fortnite player or content creator for speaking on these topics." While Blizzard claims that Blitzchung violated a competition rule, it would seem like there is more to the story. I think Epic Games just wanted to capitalize on it, because there isn't much room for political speech in a game of Fortnite. Plus, I think that their opinion would change if they were in a similar situation to Blizzard. Don't get me wrong, it's not right to ban him, but the company has to do what they think is best for them. And if Epic was in a similar situation, they could very well do a similar thing, despite what they said, despite saying they won't. And finally, taking our number 1 spot, employee walkout. I said earlier that employee morale was at a low, but the most shocking thing to me personally is that a group of employees at Blizzard actually protested the Blitzchung ban by walking out. A Blizzard employee told the Daily Beast, "The action Blizzard took against the player was pretty appalling, but not surprising. Blizzard made a lot of money in China, but now the company is in an awkward position, where they can't abide by our values." Blizzard says that they have 8 core values, 2 of those being every voice matters and think globally. As a part of the protest, Kevin Hovdestad from Blizzard tweeted, "Not everyone at Blizzard agrees with what happened. Both the think globally and every voice matters values have been covered up by incensed employees this morning, and that in all honesty is pretty powerful on its own." And at 10, rehashing. Blizzard is one of the best known developers. Even if you don't know their name, you know at least one of their games. And their recent merger with Activision makes them even more of a powerhouse. Their 3 main universes are Warcraft, Starcraft, and Diablo, and while some have more of a mainstream presence than others, they were all created in the 1990s. Since then, they've only released one game that wasn't related to these universes, that one game being Overwatch. Even the games they tried to pass off as new were the same as the old ones. Heroes of the Storm features characters from all franchises. Hearthstone takes characters from Warcraft, hence the name Hearthstone Heroes of Warcraft. And the focus of Blizzard hasn't even been on improving the worlds of these games. They more so seem to be focusing on using these worlds in other smaller games that feature some form of microtransactions, which I guess is a worse sin than just reusing content, since I have almost every other version of Skyrim. And at 9, banning Blitzchung. It would be higher on the list if it wasn't so expected, but you all knew it would be on this list. The banning of professional Hearthstone player Blitzchung after he supported the 2019 Hong Kong protest caused a massive uproar in the Blizzard community. Longtime players ended up boycotting them, even if they have spent thousands of hours in World of Warcraft. The hashtag boycott Blizzard was trending on Twitter, and Blitzchung even lost his prize money, which at that point was $10,000. That's my student debt gone. The ban was lessened from 1 year to 6 months of no competing in professional tournaments, and his prize money was restored, but this caused some conspiracies to arise. Some theorists claim that Blizzard had banned him to appeal to their shareholders in China, or someone who held major influence over them in China. Others thought that it was a PR stunt, or that they had a personal beef with Blitzchung and they used this as a scapegoat. He was banned for violating a term that is applied if you participate in a competitive tournament for Blizzard. That says you can't say anything controversial or that would harm Blizzard's image. I guess that supporting freedom would harm Blizzard's image. It got so bad that the company's core values had been covered up by angry employees in the office the next day. Savage.
Wow, what do you say after that one? Brutal, savage, wrecked, absolutely taken down.
In a day, BlizzCon 2019. BlizzCon 2019 was quite the event, starting off with an awful apology from the Blizzard president. He started off mentioning the poor decision making in reference to our last number, but then doesn't apologize for that. He apologizes for the company not meeting their purpose. Then instead of saying what they will do about the situation, he listens to his PR rep and talks about what their purpose is. They never directly apologized at the con, and they never allowed any questions, which was my main point. There were protests outside BlizzCon, and the people who attended BlizzCon were not allowed to ask questions at the specific game panels to prevent the fans from directly asking about banning Blitzchung. And here's the kicker, when you bought a ticket for BlizzCon, they made you get a virtual ticket app called A-Access Ticket App. This app had a 2.2 star rating and thousands of negative reviews because it was deemed spyware. Did you like that dramatic turn? So Blizzard required you to install an app that had been deemed spyware to be able to attend an event that you had already purchased the ticket for. Yeah, during the con, Blizzard withdrew $500,000 from the WoW tournament prize pool after the crowdfunding had hit its target, which is even worse. There wasn't enough to really make a whole number on that, but here you go. This is what happened during BlizzCon. Oof. Number 7, Battle for Azeroth. The latest expansion for World of Warcraft is called Battle for Azeroth, and it was not received well. User Rubly on the Blizzard forums said that they hate the expansion, and they list off 11 reasons as to why. Others have been more accepting, but saying that there has been a lot of unnecessary experimentation that isn't having its intended effect. Some players were calling the expansion Legion 2.0, but it doesn't hold up. Some people would kill for a sequel to the Legion expansion. While the color scheme and palette of BFA is great quality, preventing you from having a puke-clean screen most of the time, the class design, war mode, Azerite power and armor, islands, world quests, and lack of PvP vendors makes the expansion enough for fans to get angry, and make the hardcore World of Warcraft players absolutely livid. There were also complaints about lag, saying that this expansion has caused the lag to become atrocious. Anytime there is raid vs raid in world PvP, the game becomes unplayable due to lag. And as for the islands, I mean, it's a cool idea, but I guess they didn't land properly. I'll go home. Number 6, morale at an all-time low. With everything that the company has endured this past year and a bit, you can understand why worker morale would be low, especially when YouTuber The Quartering received emails from employees at Blizzard explaining the company's situation, saying that when you're hired at Blizzard they underpay you, but promise 2 yearly bonuses. These bonuses started off well, with juniors making upwards of $50,000 per bonus. However, things have started going downhill due to changes in leadership and restructuring of the company. Now the better bonuses are reserved for the higher-ups, and there are salary problems for the workers. There are even claims that Activision are already making moves to take over Blizzard if the next big game fails. If this is true, it would explain Diablo Immortal. They could be trying to build up hype for the next main series Diablo game, especially when making the lore canon so avid fans would need to play it. They could be trying to ensure that their next game is a success so that Activision won't be able to make a move. Honestly, it's understandable, but not underpaying. That's not good. Halfway through a number 5 name change. Warcraft Classic is meant to roll back the player to experience what it was like in the early days of the MMO, and they're doing it at all costs. Earlier this month, Blizzard changed the name of a guild as a way to create a more LGBT-friendly environment. The name they changed was Gay Boys, and it was reverted to Guild ZFXPK, with a customer service email explaining the change was made because your fellow players reported your in-game name as inappropriate multiple times. The creator of the guild was also temporarily suspended, but that was later overturned. earned. Guild member Emil Jelani stated, "If you reviewed my chat logs, you would see multiple messages from individuals through my recruitment process of getting us to where we are today, with individuals messaging "F*** the gays" being reported." He also says that the individuals that are reporting them are the ones saying these hateful things. Their name ended up getting restored, but they were warned that due to the coding and the way that the reporting system works, if they get reported again, their name may be removed once more. Hopefully they'll be able to get it back again. And at number 4, Real ID. Back in 2010, Blizzard received some hate for introducing the Real ID feature in discussion forums. Supposedly, the original intention of the feature was to help improve the quality of conversations and an even more enjoyable place for players to visit. The forums of any game are always enjoyable to visit, as long as the game hasn't had a major blunder. But the Blizzard forums particularly have received a rep for flame wars, trolling, and other unpleasantness as stated by Blizzard. This is typically due to the anonymity of online forums, where you're only operating under an alias and nobody knows your true self. But by pulling back the curtain, Blizzard hoped to create an online community that would be more sensitive of their words since their names were attached. One fan wrote, "I can't even begin to fathom why you would do this." And another said, "Even as someone who hates the fact that these forums are a joke and overrun with trolls and morons, I can't stress enough how terrible a solution this is. I don't want my real name out there," which is understandable, since anyone will know your name no matter what you comment. And there was no exception for people who had always abided by community guidelines. One person can really ruin something for everyone. Of course, it's not just one person in this scenario, but you know what I mean. Gun laws. And at 3, Diablo Immortal. Ha! In it too? No, I'm just kidding. Diablo Immortal is an upcoming action RPG hack and slash game in the Diablo series designed for online multiplayer. This sounds great until you hear for mobile devices. Why? Why would Blizzard think that releasing a mobile Diablo game was a good idea? This game was announced at BlizzCon 2018, and that's why everyone hated it, because instead of Diablo 4, they would be getting a mobile game. Pretty sure that's why Blizzard announced Diablo 4 at last year's BlizzCon, because after everything that went down, they needed the hype to stay afloat. As I said, the public hated it, being skeptical of a diluted mobile version of a cherished franchise. At the Q&A session after the announcement, one fan asked if the game was an out-of-season April Fool's joke, and another asked if they'd be releasing it for PC. When they said there would be no PC version, the crowd actually booed. The following day, the stock in the company fell 7%, and the trailers have the same like ratio as YouTube Rewind. And at 2, layoffs. In February of last year, Blizzard ended up laying off around 800 employees. The thing is, they didn't have a bad year. The company in fact stated that it had achieved record results in 2018. They had made $1.8 billion in profit, but according to management, the success wasn't enough to keep the entire company employed. The executives seemed remorseless, like they had no regrets or sympathies for those being let go. Where you or I would see people, at the company they were seen as costs, and the 8% workforce reduction seemed to be better for business. And in a phone call discussing earnings, the executives spoke about the 800 now jobless people in dehumanizing terms. Perhaps they were talking about them like that to avoid feeling bad about it, but having human emotions is what prevents us from making stupid decisions. This is not only Blizzard's fault, however, as they had merged with Activision prior to this, so don't blame Blizzard too much. I'm ripping on them a lot here, but I mean Activision is to blame too. Finally, in at number 1, Warcraft 3 Reforged. The remake of a classic real-time strategy game that was the cause of controversy in its early life. The title didn't live up to expectations set by Blizzard and, well, expected by fans. And even worse, to try to correct these quarrels, they released an update that basically ruined online multiplayer. Blizzard apologized, stating, "We want to say sorry to those of you who didn't have the experience you wanted." Which is essentially saying that we are sorry you expected something other than what we were delivering. So it's your fault. Sure, they say sorry, but they don't take any responsibility. It's the same thing as they did with Blitzchung. They basically said sorry you feel that way or sorry that you took offense, instead of saying we're sorry we caused you to feel this way or we're sorry we offended you. Basically avoiding all responsibility for their mistakes. I learned this in school, it's not a good thing to do. But they did intend on fixing it. The players also complained that the cutscenes didn't look like they did when the game was first announced. But this is the same damn thing as the puddles in the Spider-Man PS4 game. Of course it looks different, they rendered it on a badass computer when you're just trying to play it on a potato.